boys. Much appreciated.
Jesus. Wow. What a string of death.
Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom!
G'day Grubs, you probably guessed from that little snippet in the intro there, we're going to be talking about the DP28 today. And I want to talk about why I think this is the most underrated weapon in PUBG Mobile. And this isn't some kind of clickbait hyperbole. I'm going to back it up with some stats, show you some things on the range, talk to you about some of the gameplay mechanics with this gun that you probably didn't know about, some of the features that people don't really take into account, highlight that with some actual evidence and gameplay of clips and such, and then finish it off with a condensed gameplay that only takes 3 or 4 minutes. We'll see, we do a lovely bunch of work with the DP28, and it'll probably highlight just how valuable it can be when you're trying to win PUBG Mobile. If you like PUBG Mobile games, not win PUBG Mobile, you can't really win PUBG Mobile. Unless you're really, really good and you're playing PMCO. I'm sidetracking again. If you like this content, vote with your feet. Hit the like button, share the content, leave a comment, and that lets me know I watch those analytics, I watch those stats, I watch those KPIs, and that influences what I put on the channel. Anyway, let's kick this off. There's some stuff that needs to be acknowledged first and foremost. This is mostly about your secondary slot in your weapon loadout. And we all know that everyone runs an M416 in their secondary slot. Well, not everyone, not me, but when I'm looting people, the majority of those people, and this isn't a hot take, have an M416 as their secondary slot weapon. And there's a good reason for that. The M416 is an excellent secondary slot weapon. And people say the DP has too much vertical recoil for them to deal with. They like to prone with their M416 and nail it. Here's an M416 prone. This is 30 rounds of M416 while prone. We're going to put that in the top right corner. Let's have a look at the DP28 while prone. And then we'll put that in the top right corner. And see what you notice. And then consider that that's 47 rounds of DP28 versus 30 rounds of M416. And that the DP28 still has less vertical recoil. And a big part of why people love the M4 is there's no animation kick. Animation kick is the difference between the first round and the second round. The DP28 has no animation kick. That's because the M4, for all intents and purposes, has a bipod modeled into it as you lie down. Well, that's what the DP28 has, only it's actually visible on the DP28. Something else is the limb damage. You can see here a DP28 at 45 meters will do 32 damage to a leg shot. That's 45 meters away. At 46 meters, it does 31. That's because there is damage drop off over distance. By the time you get out to 200 meters, you're shooting in the low 30s with a DP28. That's still 7 points higher than a 5.56 round going into a level 2 vest. So why do people not like it? The real thing that happens here is the players get used to playing in a certain fashion. They like to spray with the M416. How do you know this? Because when you're running an M4 and you're spraying, you need to run like 300, 500 rounds. One of the things you're going to notice on nearly all these sprays with the DP is that they're over very quickly. And that's because good sprays with the DP don't last a long time. The DP does have more horizontal recoil than the M416. But if you're squeezing the DP, if you're not just flat out holding down the button all the time, if you're doing short bursts with the DP, then you can nail it. Now, that's not to say the recoil isn't incredible. We saw that clip before, but the thing I didn't show you is the post-match celebration. As we go and like jump in their car, have a look how much damage is done to the car. It's like at 90%. And that's because it's so easy to control the recoil on this gun. It also uses a red dot really, really well. Because a red dot gets the value of aim assist. And the best thing you can do with a DP is hit limb shots or headshots. So many of your DP28 sprays will finish with a headshot. And guess what aim assist does? It helps hit headshots. If you like the AKM, this is for all intents and purposes the AKM damage model. It fires slower than AKM, not a whole lot, about 10% slower than an AKM. But it also has a lot less recoil than an AKM has. Let's talk about potential damage, and this is where I love this as a secondary switch weapon. The DP has a potential magazine of 2,246 chest shot damage, basically. The M4 1,636. Now, of course, there's mitigating factors here. The DP takes 4.4 seconds to reload. In a close quarters fight, you're probably not going to need to reload that often with a DP28 because it's such a huge clip and it does so much damage. But I understand that that is a negative factor. But we're talking secondary slot here. If you're running this, you're running an AK as a primary, or a UMP as a primary, or, you know, an M762, or a Mark 14, or an Ace 32, or an MG3 as a primary. You have another weapon if you're running a DP. The DP is always going to be your secondary slot weapon. 4.4 seconds is just too big a reload. So in terms of that, it doesn't match up with the M4 or the AUG or one of those guns. But I'm not here telling you it's better than those weapons. What I'm telling you is that this is the most underrated weapon in PUBG Mobile. Because for all the fact that so many people acknowledge that this is a good gun, it still is in so few of the loot crates when I go and kill people. And let's not forget that in update 2.5, they added a shield that you can put on the DP28. And if you're running it as a secondary slot weapon, you really should. You don't spend anything on this thing at the shops, like for an ergonomic grip or a muzzle brake. You can put a shield on it and it will lower the chances that you're getting killed, which is a pretty good thing, in my opinion. Of course, the bullet speed is nowhere near an M416's. And for a lot of people, that's important, and it should be. And that's a downgrade on an M416 or any kind of 5.56 AR that you're running as a secondary slot weapon, or even a Mini 14. It's why I'm not saying that this is the best. It won't suit everyone. But come on, guys. This thing is just so freaking obviously under the radar and so clearly good. But it just doesn't get run because it's not a 5.56 AR. Have a look at this gameplay with me, and I'm going to comment on a few things as we go through because it really is an excellent example of why this gun is such a... You can spray it. You're going to see, watch me lead this guy and how it just doesn't climb horizontally. Well, I'm very excited about that. And you're going to see something that's very clear is a lot of these knocks will end in a headshot or they will contain a headshot. And this is with a 4X. Here the M416 sprays in the field. You can see that guy just took someone out with an M416. You just crouch with this. It lowers the recoil dramatically and you squeeze. Do you see those little squeezes? And they so often start with a headshot. It's just brutal. There's your click, your crunch, and they're down. Because 110 base damage for a headshot means that even with a level 3 helmet, even at like 200 meters, you're going to do a lot of damage. In fact, I hit a guy 3 times in the head in this game at 200 meters, and it's basically a game-winning little section of gameplay. You'll note too that you've got to be very, very patient with it. If you just want to hold the button down, this is not the gun for you. I mean, it really isn't. And you'll also note that I've not laid down at any point in time in this. You don't need to. You just don't need to. It's not hard to fire. Even when you're in the middle of a whole bunch of craziness. If you just crouch, you're going to get enough of a recoil benefit that you can laser people in the head. We're not talking UMP levels of bullet speed either here. 720 meters, 714 meters a second is enough to get the job done.
Oh, okay, it's the Farhaven.
That's 260 with a 4X. All these are with a 4X. And that's the guy with the Mini who's close.
The guy closer than that's the problem. I'm going to run at 7s too. Everyone's running 7s. Where is that guy?
It's not actually a Mini. I think it's an M4. Here we go. Watch this. 1, 2, 3.
He's done as well. Okay, he's at the old...
It's 3 headshots on 3 little squeezes. It took no rounds. Just keep
I'd
squeezing.
say that I will never doubt this thing again.
No, you won't ever doubt this thing again.
It is absolutely shredding. I also point out that my rotation was on point.
Yes, your rotations were on point.
Oh, dingers! What
Oh,
shredding.
dear.
What an absolute pantsing.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like these kind of videos, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll make more of them. Until next time, look after yourselves and stay safe
Dude,
on
it's that
the
little
battlefield.
squeeze. When you get squeezing on it, you can't spray it.